What's up you guys, I'm Ethan. In this video, I'm going to show you guys the parts to my future Partscaster. Now for those who do not know, a Partscaster is a custom electric guitar assembled from individually sourced parts. Now you guys have been wondering like, Ethan, why are you building a guitar, dude? Like you can like barely comprehend like basic math. Number one, it's completely custom. I can choose whatever parts I want to. You can choose whatever parts you want to for your guitar. Number two, it is much cheaper. A custom shop guitar can range from $3 grand all the way up to whatever you're willing to pay. Number three, you learn more about the anatomy of guitar. Let's just take a quick glance of underneath the Strat Pickguard. I used to have no idea what any of this stuff meant. Now, I'm a guitar whiz. The parts. With the bridge, I got this gold Fender bridge kit, which includes a steel bridge block, bridge plate, saddles, trim springs, screws, trim claw, whammy bar, string tree, and Allen key. The first reason I got this is because it's genuine Fender, and it is guaranteed to have all the gold matching across all parts. I was kind of paranoid about buying other parts from different manufacturers just in case the gold wasn't consistent with other golds across other parts. The second reason was because this kit came with so much more stuff and was way more convenient than buying each item or part separately. The next part of hardware I want to show you guys is this Fender neck plate cover. It's Fender, so I knew it was going to be a high quality, the finish is consistent, it's heavy, and it's simple. I feel like out of all neck plates, this one should win the best neck plate award. Can we please get a round of applause? The third piece of hardware I'm most excited to show you guys are these Fender 0990846200 Deluxe Class Sealed GTR tuning machines with pro buttons. I think these are some of the coolest tuners ever made. I was wanting to get something relatively close to the same tuning machines to Stevie Ray Vaughan's #1 and John Mayer's black one because they are some of my favorite guitar players. These tuners feel high quality, they're heavy, they feel durable, they have a gear ratio of 18:1, they use dual pin mounting and require 10mm holes in the headstock. For screws, this is a difficult choice. I had to make an important decision here. I've been looking forward to building a guitar for years now. These screws have been mounting things on my guitar for their lifetime. The process definitely wasn't, oh, gold Fender screws, cool. By now, sweet. I chose to get these gold Fender screws just to make sure that all the gold in my guitar remained the same. Like I said, without these screws, I think I'd be screwed. That was stupid. For strap buttons, I went with these D'Addario Plano Waves elliptical strap buttons. I chose these strap buttons because I thought they looked super cool and they were kind of unique. I've never seen anybody with like these diamond shaped kind of elliptical strap buttons on their guitar before. I also had to get these elliptical buttons because Stevie Ray Vaughan's Lenny Strat has something similar to them. They're like these really cool diamond metal strap buttons. I think they were like these Gibson strap buttons from the 80s, but I could be wrong. If you guys know anything more, please comment down below. I do know that Extreme Creations are selling something similar. When I'm buying hardware for Fender guitars, I always like buying genuine Fender parts for that guitar. From what I've seen, a lot of overseas manufacturers have a really yellow gold, and I'm just not the biggest fan of it. Other companies I like for hardware would be Godot, Schaller, Inclusion. These companies make the best possible hardware you can use for your guitar. Two other companies that I really like for budget-friendly builds would be Geiger and Wilkinson. These two companies have really good parts for their prices. What's up you guys? It's been a little bit since you guys last saw me, and some new parts actually came in. So for the Pickguard, we went with this mint green Pickguard. As you can see, this bag is not a toy. If you guys are gonna go with like a mint Pickguard, I highly suggest actually going with Fender because a lot of overseas manufacturers are like actually like super mint. So I highly suggest going with Fender because Fender's mint is actually more of like a off-white kind of like cream mint. It's not like a super like, you know, mint ice cream kind of flavor. Look. So yeah, I highly suggest going with like a Fender mint Pickguard. And as you can see, this is actually a vintage cut Pickguard. As you can see, there's like that little notch near the neck pickup for the truss rod. It's just like I want my like good strap. Today, Junior. I want my Strat to look like it actually came from like a 60s like era. So mint Pickguard. For plastic parts in general, I got this aged white, this like plastic cover set by Fender. As you can see, the pickup covers are like this off-white color. Same with the back plate, the knobs are all the same color. And back here is the selector switch little button thing. So yeah, I just got these just to like match the Pickguard, but not necessarily like super match because it's gonna be like a different shade, like all vintage kind of guitars look. So yeah, this is aged white, going on a mint Pickguard by Fender. This bag is also not a toy. So yeah, aged white cream plastic parts. For my input jack, I went with this Allparts gold 1/4 inch input jack, as you can see. I highly suggest getting an Allparts input jack because this is like one that I could like truly like almost like guarantee trust. You can trust this one. You can trust this one. So yeah, I highly suggest getting something like this. This is like one of the only good, like high quality input jacks that I can find in gold. Because a lot of Strat input jacks are actually like chrome, which wouldn't match my input jack plate. So yeah, I got this one just to make sure that it would match. And it's high quality, I can trust it. And it'll last for my whole guitar's lifetime. I got this gold Allparts input jack for my Strat. I used to. For pickups, I want something kind of different. I really enjoy the sound of the vintage fat Fender Custom Shop 60s pickups. But there's one more competitor which really just stood out to me. And it was these Klein Jazzy Cat pickups. What really made these pickups stand out to me was they sound like a lot like John Mayer's Black 1 and a lot like the Stevie Ray Vaughan Strats. So these are like these like mid-scoop sounding pickups which have an insane amount of like variety and tone. And just like a crazy like range as well. These pickups sound great with like fuzzes and like distortions. And they sound really nice with like just like a clean vintage Fender style kind of sound. As you can also obviously see, I got a loaded pickguard, which comes with like your standard volume pot right here and like your 2 tones. And it also comes with this .022 oil capacitor. So yeah, I chose the pre-soldered, just like loaded pickguard option. One, because I don't think it would be the greatest option for me to, you know, do all of this. I understand what's going on, but, you know, and so yeah, I'm pretty hyped with like this whole loaded pickguard thing. It has your 5-way selector switch, as you can see as well. You have your neck pickup right here, your neck middle, your middle, you know, middle bridge, and bridge. So yeah, I highly suggest if you're gonna get a Klein set like pickups, just get like a loaded pickguard if you're, you know, building a Partscaster. Everything's super clean, super nicely done. So yeah, highly suggest getting a loaded pickguard from Klein. Those are the parts. Back to the parts I already had. Now the neck I chose for this build has to be this Allparts neck. This neck has everything that I was looking for. The specs are truss rod adjustment at the heel, 21 frets, 25.5 scale length, 9.5 fretboard radius, a fat C profile, a 1 5/8 scrap sack nut, and the fretwork is already done. It is leveled, crowned, and polished. These tuning holes are drilled at 8mm, so if you're wanting to use 10mm or modern tuning machines, you would have to use a reamer or just drill out the hole to make it a little bit bigger to 10mm. This has to be one of my favorite necks that I've felt. I think it comes from the fat C profile. It reminds me of a thicker 50 Strat. That's what it reminds me of. But it's slightly thicker, but not to the extent of like a 1950s like Les Paul. So if you guys played like a Epiphone, Les Paul, standard 50s, that's kind of what it is, but it's not as thick. It's like in between the Strat, like the 50s Strat and the, like a 50s Les Paul. It's really nice, and I think I've preferred this shape out of any Strat neck I've played before. What I also think makes this neck great is the lack of like a thick glossy finish. I think glossy finishes look great, but over time they wear down, and if you sweat, it can start to feel sticky. I like this neck to be relic because I don't want to spend the next 20 years, you know, getting it to how I want it to be. And with this relic, everything is brand new, besides just that worn down back. As you can see, the headstock's brand new. There's no dents on it at all. There's no chips. There's no scratches on it. It's brand new. So over time, I think it'll be pretty cool to have it gain its own natural marks. I wanted to get a neck like this because I think the tinted amber maple just looks a lot better in my opinion. I also want to get a rosewood fingerboard because I realized the more that I play guitars that have unfinished fretboards, I tend to prefer more than finished fretboards. But that's just my personal opinion. I just like that smooth feel and how it's just consistent. And just like even if you're playing with like sweatier hands or just in a drier climate, I think rosewood would always remain consistent. And I think that's why I started to prefer rosewood now. I also have other necks that I've played and like in the description down below. Now for the body, I'm super hyped to show you guys what I chose. For my body, I chose this Relic Nitro Dakota Red Strat by MJT. Before I go deeper, I want to explain to you guys the different types of finishes. There's nitrocellulose, which is what I have here, and poly. Nitro is a thin layer of lacquer or paint that lets the body breathe more because it can expand and contract. This causes this really cool cracking effect, which looks like this. Since it is thinner though, it is less durable and it tends to wear much quicker, which is what it's famous for. That's how you get the Stevie Ray Vaughan #1 look, the John Mayer Black 1 look, the Rory Gallagher Strat, David Gilmour's Black Strat. The way you get that look is just through the nitrocellulose finish. Poly on the other hand is a thick shell-like cover which is much harder to wear and is known for pretty much looking perfect for its whole lifetime. Now it is possible to relic, but I don't think it will ever look as nice as a Nitro relic. Nitro was used by Fender from the 50s to late 60s. From 1968 to the 70s, Fender started fading out with Nitro, and it became even less used than when the 80s came around and everything just became poly. Now this body is kind of like a Journeyman relic by Fender. it's not that worn in. As you can see, there's like the dinks and pieces of missing paint. The same thing applies to the body, like what I said for the neck. I want it to be relic, but I still want to have that ability to have its own kind of uniqueness and story. Plus, if everything was perfect and there's a small scratch or dink in the middle, I think I'd probably rethink my life decisions for the next couple of weeks. What I do like about this relic though is it's not a harsh transfer from red to bare wood, and you can see the white under the paint. I've always been a big fan of Dakota Red, as to me, it is like a true red compared to a Fiesta Red, which is, through my eyes, kind of like an orangey kind of pink, which I still do like. I'm just a bigger fan of Dakota Red. As you can see, this body is cut and drilled to vintage specs. This means that the body needs a vintage bridge, which uses 6 holes compared to the standard 2, what is popular for modern Strats now. It has all the original contours that the Strat should have, and there's a 4-bolt neck pocket, and there's only space for 3 single coils. The wood that this body uses is alder, which is one of the main woods that Fender commonly uses. Alder is one of the best woods for guitars because it is lightweight, balanced, and dense, which is better for sustain. That about wraps up the video. Of all things I've talked about, linked in the description. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment down below what you guys think about the parts I chose. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all later.